Aggregate function. The aggregate function allows you to summarize values, and it gives you the ability to ignore error values as well as hidden cells. So, for example, I have here the date, the barcode, the category, the product name, and amount. What will happen if I sum the entire amount column? It will sum. Ctrl-Shift down to select the whole range, close bracket, and press enter. I got an error. Why? Because I have an error in there. With the aggregate function, I get to ignore errors. Just start off with aggregate. Then, you get a lot of choices for the type of aggregation you want to do. In this case, I want to sum, so I will go with 9. Next, I get my ignore options. I can ignore hidden rows, I can ignore values, or hidden rows, error values, nested subtotal, and aggregate functions. The subtotal function is the older version of the aggregate function. It does the same thing, except that it wasn't that flexible as aggregate. For example, you can't ignore error values with subtotal. In this case, let's say I just want to ignore error values, so I'm gonna go with this option number 6. Next is the array. This is my range that I want to aggregate. Ctrl-Shift down to select the whole range. The last option doesn't apply to us. It's something you need if you use the small and large functions. Now, we're just going to close bracket and press enter, and we get our number. At this point, I'm only ignoring error values. I'm not ignoring hidden cells. If I restrict this to essentials and click on OK, I can still get the sum of the entire column. To ignore hidden cells, I can change my option here. 5 would ignore hidden rows, 3 ignores it all, so I'm gonna select this, press enter, and I got the sum of the visible rows only. So if I change this to electronics, click on OK, I got the sum of this specific category only. Now, let's quickly take a look at another example. I have the total amount of inventories from Trix group of companies for the first 3 months, and I'm using the aggregate function to sum this. I'm doing the same for the total amount of inventories from D&G Enterprise. Again, another aggregate function. Now, what's the benefit of using this here? Well, if I want to calculate the sum of the amount of the inventories of the 2 suppliers, I can just use the aggregate function. Go with sum, and for my option here, ignore nested subtotal and aggregate function. And then for my array, I'll select this whole range. When I close bracket and press enter, it only adds up these values. And it ignores anything that has aggregate or subtotal in it. If you also wanted to ignore hidden rows and error values, you can switch this option to number 3.